No One Will Save You takes us on a wild ride through an alien invasion story that's anything but ordinary. Trust me, this film dives deep into the emotions and surprises us with its twists. So let's break down that mind-bending ending and what it reveals about Kaitlyn Dever's character, Brynn. At first, we see Brynn dealing with some serious, alien-related isolation. It's clear she's desperate for a social life, and she's ready to do whatever it takes to beat that loneliness. But then, all chaos breaks loose when the aliens come knocking on her door and she's forced into a battle for survival. But here's where it gets really interesting. While the movie mainly focuses on Brynn's fight against the alien invasion, it slyly hints that there's more to the story, something lurking in her past. As the movie draws to a close, it starts connecting the dots, unraveling the mysteries bit by bit. Now remember, this isn't your typical alien invasion flick. It's more like Alex Garland's Annihilation. So when the ending rolls around, you might find yourself scratching your head a bit. But fear not, because we're here to guide you through it. In the end, No One Will Save You isn't just about aliens attacking Earth. It's about how those extraterrestrial visitors are entangled with Brynn's past. It's a puzzle that slowly comes together, and when it finally does, it'll leave you in awe. So buckle up and get ready to dissect the ending, because it's a wild ride worth every moment. What happens at the end? So in that spooky alien abduction flick on Hulu, No One Will Save You, we've got this intense game of hide-and-seek going on between Brynn and the aliens. These otherworldly creatures just won't quit, invading her house night after night. But guess what? Brynn's got some serious ninja skills, managing to dodge them time and again. But wait for it. Towards the end, things take a major twist. Brynn finally gets nabbed by those aliens and ends up on their spaceship. There's this super eerie moment where an alien dude touches her forehead with its finger. It's like they're diving into her memories and uncovering a dark secret. Brace yourself, because it turns out Brynn accidentally killed Maude when they were kids. Talk about a shocking revelation. Here's the kicker, though. The aliens, after digging into her past, somehow feel empathy for Brynn. So they do a 180 and set her free, making her the only person not under their creepy control. Back on Earth, Brynn is like a weight's been lifted. She's all smiles and laughs as she's returned to her community. But the whole town's been taken over by these aliens, yet they're all living it up at a dance in Mill River. Brynn joins in, dancing and mingling with the rest of the townsfolk. And you can tell she's happier than she's been in ages. It's a total mind-bender, but that's what makes this movie a real roller coaster of a thriller. Is Brynn dead or dreaming? Now let's dive into that intriguing dance scene at the end of No One Will Save You. It might make you wonder, is Brynn actually alive or just dreaming up this perfect ending? After all, it's like a fairy tale come true for her. Acceptance, happiness, and the cozy home life she's been craving, all wrapped up with a bow. But here's the twist. There's a tiny detail that tells us Brynn is very much alive and kicking. Remember that wound on her forehead during those final scenes? Yep, that's the proof we need. It's a clear signal that everything she's experiencing, from the abduction to the dance, is real, not some dream. And for those who want to hear it from the horse's mouth, the director, Brian Duffield, spilled the beans in an interview with Inverse. He said that while the ending can be open to interpretation, in his book, everything in the movie is legit. Giving Brynn a happy ending was all about showing her healing journey. So rest assured, Brynn's not just dreaming. She's living her newfound happiness for real. The aliens' powers explained. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of those alien invaders in No One Will Save You. First off, these extraterrestrial folks bring some serious tech game. When the invasion kicks off, Brynn's house goes haywire with voltage spikes, hinting that these aliens or their spaceship give off powerful electromagnetic fields or radio waves. The next morning, boom, all electronics go kaput, including her landline. It's like they're sending a message. We're here, and we've got the gadgets to prove it. Now, when it comes to physical abilities, these aliens aren't messing around. They're stronger and more agile than your average human, thanks to their prehensile feet. That means they can move quickly and gracefully, making them quite formidable opponents. But it doesn't stop there. These aliens have super senses. They can hear a pin drop, literally. Remember that creaky floorboard? They heard it, no problem. And when Brynn tries to sneak attack one of them, they stop her dead in her tracks without even looking back. Plus, they've got this telekinesis thing going on, so you don't want to mess with them in a mental showdown. They're super smart and can defend themselves like pros. Now here's where it gets interesting. In the end, they pull off some telepathic mojo to access Brynn's memories and really understand her. And guess what? They spare her after learning about her tragic past, showing they've got empathy that's off the charts, maybe even more than some humans. Oh, and they might not show emotions on their faces, but they communicate through rhythmic vibrations and a kind of sign language. So these aliens are a lot more complex than your typical invaders. Why do the aliens let her go? All right, let's tackle the big question. Why did those aliens cut Brynn some slack? Now, the movie doesn't spell it out, but we can speculate on a couple of juicy theories. First off, it could be that the aliens saw Brynn as a non-threat. She's not exactly a protector of her community. In fact, she's kind of looking for the same thing they seem to be after: peace and harmony. They're just going about it in a super creepy way, and she's all about that cozy, peaceful life. But here's a twistier theory. Maybe the aliens cut her loose because they realized she's not all that different from them. Despite being human, Brynn's been ostracized by society ever since that tragic accident with Maude. She's been trying her darndest to fit in, but the townsfolk always made her feel like an outsider. So maybe the aliens figured, hey, this one's been through enough. They might have realized that humanity's strength comes from unity, and Brynn, who's lived a loner's life, isn't a threat if they give her the social connection she craves. So, towards the end, Brynn might just be playing for the other team, becoming more like an ally to the aliens because, unlike her fellow humans, they actually accept her. It's like a whole other layer of intrigue in this alien invasion tale. What happened to the town after the invasion? All right, let's dig into those closing moments of No One Will Save You. So Brynn steps out of her house, and what do you know? Her neighbors are all chill, working in her garden. A friendly wave exchange, which is quite the contrast from the cold shoulder she got in the beginning. Here's the kicker, though. Those neighbors, they've got that alien parasite thing going on in their throats, which basically means they're being controlled by the aliens. Now, this paints a pretty clear picture. While most folks have become alien puppets, Brynn's roaming free because these extraterrestrials see her as one of their own. It's a paradox. The aliens, in a sneaky move, gain control over Brynn by creating an environment where she's not fighting their invasion. She's kind of going along with it. It's like they've given her a sense of empowerment, but it comes at a cost. Now here's the twist that'll keep you pondering long after the credits roll. Brynn breaks the fourth wall, and it's like she's talking directly to us, the audience. She's inviting us to think about the moral gray area of her decision. How far would you go, and how much of yourself would you give up to feel accepted and loved? It's a big, juicy question that leaves us all with some serious food for thought. The reason Brynn writes letters to Maude, Brynn's connection with her best friend Maude, is like a haunting thread throughout the story. Those letters she keeps writing to Maude, well, they drop some serious hints that Maude is somehow linked to the way Brynn's treated by her fellow townsfolk. But here's where it gets really intense. In the final stretch of the film, when that alien touches Brynn's noggin, she slips into a trance. And in that trippy state, she relives some dark memories from her past that shine a light on why she's become the town's social outcast. It turns out that during a heated argument with Maude, things took a tragic turn. Brynn got pushed to the ground, lost her cool, and grabbed a stone, hitting her best friend on the head with it. Yeah, it's heavy stuff. The way the townspeople treat Brynn and those letters she writes to Maude, well, that's pretty much confirmation that Maude didn't make it. You can see it in the heart-wrenching reaction of Maude's dad, who's also the chief of police. Brynn likely got sent to juvie, and when she came back, her neighbors wanted nothing to do with her. To make things even lonelier, her mom passed away, leaving her all by herself. Those letters to Maude, they're Brynn's emotional lifeline, her way of dealing with the guilt and loneliness in a town where no one will give her the time of day. It's like her secret outlet to apologize to her friend without admitting to the terrible truth, that she's the reason Maude's no longer around. What does the miniature town represent? Let's rewind to the beginning of the movie. Brynn's in this serene moment, sipping wine and grooving next to a tiny model of her town. It's like a snapshot of her innermost desires. She craves acceptance and wants to be an active part of her community. But sadly, nobody's rolling out the welcome mat for her, so she creates this perfect little town in her living room as a coping mechanism. Now, fast forward to the end of the movie. Guess what? Brynn's dream of being part of her ideal town becomes reality. The closing scene is like a mirror image of that opening moment. In the beginning, she's dancing solo by her model town, but in the end, she's out there dancing with her fellow townsfolk. It's a full-circle journey for her, a glimpse of her wish fulfilled, and it's pretty darn satisfying to see her come full circle. The deeper meaning behind the alien invasion. All right, let's dive into the layers of No One Will Save You. Sure, On the surface, it's your classic alien invasion tale with these creepy parasites that take over humans and turn them into alien-worshipping drones. But here's where it gets deep. Brynn's story seems to carry a whole lot more weight. Think of it this way. Those hostile townsfolk, the letters to Maude, and her fear of being seen in town are like a reflection of her buried guilt. She's trying to escape it by creating this artificial miniature town and pouring her heart into those letters. But guess what? Guilt has a way of creeping back in, just like those invasive aliens. Now, in the final stretch, when Brynn resists the invasion by yanking out that parasite from her throat, it's like a visual metaphor for her running away from her guilt. Then, things take a trippy turn with a battle between Brynn and her clone. She gets stabbed, but ultimately takes down her own guilt-ridden self by going for the neck with a paper cutter. It's like a cathartic moment, her way of fighting and finally forgiving herself. As the ending shows, accepting her guilt sets her free, and the world around her changes to reflect her newfound peace. And here's a cool tidbit. Those alien crop circles at the start? They're like foreshadowing, resembling Enso Zen symbols that stand for harmony, enlightenment, and community. So yeah, No One Will Save You isn't just about aliens, it's a journey through Brynn's inner demons and her path to healing. That brings us to the end of today's video. Did you like this movie? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, then please like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.